What's up, Lego builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios, and today we are going to be taking a look at my entire Lego Star Wars clone army, which features lots of gunships, lots of ATTEs, and over 300 clone troopers. So I'm going to split this video into two parts. The first part is going to be taking a look at all the vehicles and ships. The second part will be taking a look at all the minifigures. So starting with the ships, I have 5 Republic gunships over here. This is the 2013 Republic gunship. It's been modified. I put in an extra door on the front there and scooted the bubble turrets up. Next to that, we have a non-modified 2013 gunship. This one is in kind of bad shape. You can see it's pretty yellowed and stuff, and I'm actually going to be using that for an experiment soon. Then we've got a 2008 gunship, as well as I think it's the 2008 dropship and ATOT. And then up here we have this beautiful custom gunship. This was designed by M5 Builds. I actually just finished building it. I did do some slight modifications on it, so I'll probably be doing a video later on showing you guys what I did there. Very happy with that one, probably going to be building the second. Moving on to over here, we have the Republic Attack Shuttle. This one has been modified to be in 41st Elite Corps colors or Kashyyyk colors. Just a little bit of camouflage. I feel like the original model is just too bright, too colorful. In front of that, we've got the ARC 170 from 2010. Over here, we've got the Police Gunship, classic set right there. I feel like this is a really underrated ship. I was really excited to be able to use that in a mock a while ago. Next to those, we have my 2 custom AV7 anti-vehicle cannons. These are actually 2 of the first Lego Star Wars mocks I ever built. I think I built these back when I was like 12 or 13. So to have them still built is pretty cool. Obviously, you can see they're in dire need of some restoration. So if I ever do end up using them in a mock, I will be restoring them back to their former glory. Next to them, we've got the ATOT. Honestly, guys, the longer I've had this set, the less impressed I am with it. It's just kind of a weird looking vehicle. I do like all of the seating options in the top. I think that's pretty sweet. I've honestly been thinking about remodeling it to kind of like put a giant cannon in there, maybe put a cover on and turn it into a medical walker. We'll see if that ever happens. Next to that, we've got 2 Republic fighter tanks. One of them is the modified 501st version I did a while ago with the recolor, a little bit of change to the hatch area. I kind of closed off the gaps and then obviously made the cannons larger. Next to that, we have an unmodified regular Republic fighter tank. Moving on to my favorite vehicle in the Lego Star Wars galaxy, we've got the 2013 ATTE. You can see this one's been slightly modified. I tiled off the entire exterior. I felt like this looks a lot better and kind of makes the ATTE look a little bit beefier. And this was the very same ATTE that was on Utapau, so that's why it's still tiled off. Next to that, we have a custom ATTE. This ATTE is styled off of the Reek from Star Wars Episode 2, kind of that giant rhino beast. I saw someone do a mini version of the ATTE with the horns on the front and the change of color, and I thought that was pretty cool. I figured, you know what, I might as well try and do that in full scale, and I think it turned out pretty cool. This is definitely one of my more favorite mods I've done to an ATTE. If you guys want to see a more in-depth video on this, check out my video about my custom clone company, Rhino Company. This guy was actually made to complement those clone troopers, so I'll put the link in the top of the video. Next to that, we've got the classic 501st ATTE. This is one of the first modified ATTEs I ever did. Pretty happy with it. It's pretty simple. Recolor, a little bit of change to the interior as well as the turret, and then I tiled it off as well. Up here in the front, we have probably one of the coolest pieces in my collection, the Brick Vault ATTE. This is kind of a UCS style, if you will, minifigure scale ATTE. I absolutely love this build. You can see it's got a lot of detail. You can even take off the hatch on the top. You got all kinds of seats and weapon holders in there. Very happy with this. I'd love to get a second one sometime if my budget will allow for it. Moving on to the middle, kind of the last section, we've got some light infantry support vehicles. We've got my custom ATRTs here in the front. We've got 3 regular, 1 shock trooper variant, and 2 501st variants, as well as a 41st Elite Corps variant on the very end. Got an old school BARC speeder, and then some of Lego's ATRTs, which I hate, but you know, they're part of the Army, so I included them. Then we got a swamp speeder here in the back, and then the new 501st BARC speeder. So that wraps up the vehicles. Now it's time to check out the minifigs. Like I said in the beginning, this Army is over 300 minifigures. It's definitely a P1 heavy clone Army, but that's the way I like it. I love the P1s. This first column consists of 93 of the animated Phase 1 clone troopers. I really liked these guys growing up, even though they were ultimately replaced by the realistic Phase 1. Still pretty cool. I've got some of the gunners back here from that original Clone Trooper battle pack. And then in the front, I've got my ranked clone troopers. We've got Commander Cody. This is Commander Raptor, custom clone I made as a kid. And then Captain Rex. And then behind him, we have 3 animated pilots. This was a custom kind of Kashyyyk Phase 1 clone trooper. This was back before LEGO had made any 41st Elite Corps troops, besides that one Kashyyyk trooper in the turbo tank, so I decided to make my own. And then next to him, we've got a Phase 1 shock trooper, a custom one as well. Moving on to the next section, we've got my beautiful Phase 1 realistic clone troopers. These are my favorite kind of clone trooper. I have 73 of these, with most of them being the plain white grunts. These guys right here are my custom Rhino Company troops with the gray arms. I did replace their red captain's helmets with the normal ones because I needed the captain's helmets for the actual captains. Up here in front, I've got 5 sergeants, 2 lieutenants, 3 captains, 3 commanders. I definitely want to be getting more of all of these guys. Up here in front, we've got some more plain white clone troopers, as well as 3 realistic clone pilots. So that wraps up the Phase 1 section of the Army. Moving over here to the Phase 2 section, I have 54 of the 212th Trooper. Now, I've been asked a lot how on earth I got so many 212th Troopers, and honestly, I've just been collecting them for a while. You know, I needed a bunch for Utapau, and I bought them. I bought a lot of them back before they got super expensive. Honestly, it's just looking for good deals, staying focused, staying committed, and you know, just constantly checking and looking, and that's how you get them. Up in front, we've got my custom Commander Cody. This guy is a decal, however, he was not done by me. I found him on Instagram, some guy was selling them, and I thought I had to have him for Utapau. So probably one of my favorite clone troopers in my collection. Moving on, we've got my Kashyyyk troopers. This is one section I really do need to beef up. The only problem is I don't really ever use them in mocks, so I have little motivation to buy them and little extra funds to be able to purchase them. They, of course, are led by Phase 2 Commander Gree. Moving on, we've got everybody's favorite Legion, the 501st Legion. We've got the new style 501st troopers here in the back with the old, my personal favorite style up here in the front. And then we've got a couple jetpack troopers. Here we've got 3 of the 501st ARF trooper. This is the Clone Army Customs ARF helmet with the official LEGO body. Up in front of that, we've got my only 332nd trooper, as well as a couple custom troopers from Clone Army Customs. And then they are led by the rare Phase 2 Captain Rex. Here, kind of in the middle of everything, we have a group of clone troopers I really want to get a lot more of, and that is the plain white Phase 2 clone trooper. Most of these guys have been decaled by me. This is the one I do the most of just because these guys are really hard to buy, but they're really cheap to buy and decal myself. So I've been doing that to save a bunch of money. However, I have been working on other projects, so I haven't been able to put too much time and effort into that. But I do have more coming in the mail from Jonak Toys, so I should be able to beef up that section soon. This last chunk here is going to be a random assortment of clone troopers. Here we've got 4 of the Phase 2 gunners. You can see on 2 of them I swapped out the white arms for tan. I felt like tan looked cooler and it matches the helmet. So that was a little mod I did there for those. Next up, we've got 5 of the Phase 2 shock trooper. That's another rare one. I've really had trouble getting my hands on more of these guys. They're just too expensive right now. Up in front of them, we've got the legendary Delta Squad, all 4 members. Those are from Clone Army Customs. And then up here in the very front, we have probably the newest addition to my Clone Army, these beautiful Phase 2 clone pilots. I think they look absolutely incredible. These 3 right here are from Clone Army Customs, and then this guy right here is LEGO's official version. And then this guy right here is LEGO's official version. I'd have to say, out of these Clone Army Custom ones, I think my favorite is either the Warthog design or the Hazard design. They're both just really cool looking minifigures, and I'm excited to use these guys in my next mock. Last, we have this random group of, this is just like the bottom of the barrel for my clone trooper army. We've got a 91st Recon Trooper, 327, a couple of 327 Star Corps. This is a custom medic I built, as well as a couple of the old school Phase 2 clone troopers, and then a shock trooper there in the back. And then these two just kind of random hodgepodge guys. I also almost forgot these two. I wasn't able to fit these two turbo tanks over there on the table, but I do have the 2010 Clone Wars version as well as the 2005 version. This is actually the first large-scale Lego Star Wars set I ever got. So that wraps up my Lego Star Wars Clone Trooper Army Showcase video for 2021. I'm pretty happy with how it's been growing, especially the Clone Troopers. I have definitely been in the largest growth period for my Clone Trooper army ever, and I'm looking to add, 100 to 200 Clone Troopers by the time the next video comes around, as well as some more gunships and ATTEs. So stay tuned for the next one. I'm really excited to be using these for future projects to come as well. If you guys like this video, don't forget to leave me a big thumbs up. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, anything, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. And don't forget to let me know what your favorite part of this Clone Trooper army is. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing so you won't miss out on any future content. But until next time, happy building.